आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणाम् आकृतिं स्मरेतेन विघ्नप्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोवतः लक्ष्मीं तनोतु नितरामितरानपेक्षमङ्घ्रिद्वयं निगमशाकिशिखाप्रवालं हैरम्बम् अङ्गुरुहडम्बरचौर्यनिघ्नं विज्ञाति वेदशतधारधरन्धरन्नः सर्वेषां स्वागतं हरि ओम्. This is the positive psychology session for the 12th verse of Sri Rama Gita. So in the 11th verse, we saw that there is a concept of resilience that the positive psychology speaks about, where wherever we find opposition, we should not lose the one first element that we talked about as positive emotions. We should not lose our positive emotions, which will open us to experiencing new things. Now, when we encounter any kind of opposition, it is not necessary that the opposing argument is totally wrong. It might enhance our argument further. Maybe there is more contribution from it. So in that way, keeping up positive emotions is important. Keeping up positive emotions helps us to allow ourselves to keeping ourselves open to or any kind of new arguments opposing the elemental validity of the opposing argument. So because we can use it, we can use to validate ourselves. Next, the second part of resilience is being proactive. Here, when we see the style of argument from the 7th shloka, we find that Sri Rama has started giving his lecture. He's giving his upadesha. In that point of time, he's trying to answer the question how to escape the or how to cultivate detachment from samsara and how to cross the ocean of ignorance. At that point of time, he gave his insight, that is his argument towards it. His argument was that we need to first give up karmas. After we have fulfilled whatever is required of us from the previous ashramas, then we need to give them up, and then we need to go and surrender to a guru. And then he gave his reason why karma should be given up. Now, in this Jnana Karma Samuchayavada, it says karma needn't to be given up. But nobody is there to question him. Nobody is there to question him at this point of time, because this conversation is happening between Lakshmana and Rama. He's proactive enough, however, because if he tells him only so much, if he tells Lakshmana only so much, then there already exists a counter to this argument. So what happens even if Lakshmana doesn't know about this, and then he tries to use this jnana somewhere outside, then he comes across this argument, then his question is, why didn't now I'm confused. First of all, Rama said this, but then there is somebody who says no, there is an objection raised. What is the solution to that? So knowing that there is an opposing argument, and then that opposing argument also needs to be rebutted, Rama is taking up the opportunity to also speak about what the objection is. That is his proactiveness. That is him being proactive about it. Even though there is nobody there who is going to object to him, even though there is no question from Lakshmana specifically about this, because he may also not be aware of it. Nonetheless, what is happening is that Rama is taking the opportunity of this Upadesha to speak about a certain concept, and whatever is a part of that concept, that whole concept, he is talking about. Whether it is in line with what his idea is, he's talking about the opposition also. And he's justifying he will justify it from the 14th shloka onwards. But even though when nobody is there to object to him, nobody is there to point this out to him, he is taking up an objection which has stayed, which was brought up at some point of time. It shows that he is proactive. That means he is not just considering the validity of his argument, he is considering the validity of the argument. Him has diminished now, that ahambhava has diminished now. He is giving the right path to liberation. That is the bottom line. And therefore, for that, the Jignasu, the inquisitive mind might ask these kind of questions. It has been asked. Whether Lakshmana is aware of it or not, it has been asked. Then someday when Lakshmana knows this, again there is a problem where he may get confused, he may get disillusioned. So therefore, he is giving the complete story, complete set of framework of argument, and he's justifying even those uh, he's justifying his argument against even those who are opposing it. So this is the proactiveness that is required to bring about resilience. But here we need to be very careful. This doesn't mean that we half listen to what the other person is saying and then we start defending ourselves. There is no need to be defensive. We need to listen to the other person completely. Proactiveness is not, it does not mean that we need to be in urgency. We need to listen to the opposing argument first. We need to consider the opposing arguments first. And we need to understand, we need to analyze their opposing argument just as much as we are trying to validate our own argument, so that we understand where is the flaw in the logic, or where is it that the problem is happening. Here Rama is very clear. The reason, the primary reason why karma cannot lead to liberation is because liberation means free from any kind of samsara, free from any kind of attachment. If karma leads to attachment, that is, karma leads to sharira, sharira leads to karma, and between this there is attachment, then how is it possible that karma can initiate detachment? So that itself is the dosha of karma. Therefore, he says it is invalidated. And now, when people are saying, no, that needn't be necessary because the source of jnana is also the Vedas, source of karma is also the Vedas. So they are giving it the same amount of weightage, and it mandates, not alone saying that, not alone mentioning it, it mandates compulsorily to do certain kriyas. So in this case, if I don't do it, I will incur sin. This is also mentioned in the Vedas. Now the question arises, why Rama is saying or giving more weightage to jnana when the source of both jnana and karma is the same? So this is the argument, and he understands this argument will is a very important objection. Not normally anybody and everybody can say that no, I don't believe in this. That he is not considering. This is a valid argument. The argument itself is valid, and there is misconception or misinterpretation also that he explains later on. How we connect jnana and karma, there is a flaw in this particular argument that he explains later. We shouldn't take it in such a way. Therefore, it is important for him to consider this particular objection, regardless of whether he has been asked specifically about it, or if there is somebody to ask him about it. That is the reason he is being proactive, and he is considering it without any kind of stimulus, without nobody asking him about this particular question. He is taking it up, and he is being very careful. He gives 3 whole stanzas to just to elaborate on the vada, jnana karma samuchaya vada, the whole argument. What is the objection? Also, he is giving space for that. It is not some statement. He is not dismissive of the statement. No, this is the importance of that vadakata. When we start off, we are not going to dismiss the Purva Paksha Vada without restating it. We have to first restate whatever has happened. Maybe paraphrase can be done, but we need to repeat whatever has been given as the objection, and then we need to provide a rebuttal to it. Because there is a way of asking, their way of asking something is valid. So I cannot be dismissive about it. So it requires us to listen to the other person, repeat that so that we understand what the objection, how the objection has been built, and then give a rebuttal to it. So that is being proactive about it. So Rama's verses from 11, 12, 13, we see his proactiveness. So with this is the second concept of resilience that we need to cultivate. We need to be proactive. So with this, we end this session. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिस्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।